Okay, so time for a new market update. So let's see what happened. Um, Currently it's Wednesday, so if we look at the price action for Monday, there we had that local Model 1 distribution. Then price came down, just front ran that high and then came down. I want to look for shorts if we took out that high and then get into a short. Unfortunately, we did not get the short entry, but yeah, the bias was good. And right now what we have is that we basically have our initial range low, which I'm looking at is right here, and then we have our range high right there. And this is just a super clean range, which means that I'm trading it like a range, which means that I am mostly interested in shorts above the highs, longs at the lows, and then internal price action needs to have a clean, super clean triggers, because that's mostly chop. But what we had last night was pretty interesting, because if we look at this price action right here, can we see the price moved up, and then here we had a 1, 2, 3 local Model 1 before price came down. And often when you form a local Model 1, that can be the starting point of your bigger range, with your range high, range low. And then if you take that high out, then you can look for distribution models. So that was what I was looking at that Monday to get in a short. However, here we just front ran that level. So I did not get in a short, unfortunately, and then price came down. But if we look at what happened last night, is that price just front ran the range low, typical to trap traders who are waiting, make them impatient before eventually taking it out. But that's for a later moment. And then if we look at what happened yesterday, we had it move up. And then here we had 1, 2, 3 local Model 1, which can be the starting point, one range high, range low of your new range. Exactly what happened on Monday as well. So let's draw that range right here. And here we can see that what I was waiting for basically on Monday is that we took out that initial range high. So this was our initial high. Here we took it out, 2, came down, and then on the third tap we took it out, aka a Model 1 once again, and that hit the technical target with an aggressive move. I was pre-planning this, also shared it with the group, but yeah, this was at 2:30, so that's like 2 hours later in my time, so deep in the midnight, so I could not benefit from this move because Asia striked again, which happens often. But right now, I just want to zoom out a bit, delete this, is that I'm looking at this from a range perspective. So as said, range low, range high, currently around the mid-range. Let's see where the mid-range exactly is. Yeah, so currently around the mid-range and rejecting from Monday's low. I think this is a pretty important level. So I think bears want to defend this and that we will eventually trade lower towards these levels, which is also in line with the weekly statistics. If we look at the statistics from Bitcoin on the daily, we can see that it's also bearish, but on the weekly, more important, with our weekly high right here and our weekly low right here. You can see low P1 flip risk, 29% of the weeks took out the weekly high based on timing statistics, so it's all pretty low. And then on distance statistics, 24% will take out the high, which is also pretty low. And then if we look at how likely is it that P2 is in, so how likely is it that if this is our high, which seems likely, and this is our low, how likely is it that we will see a bigger bearish move as we have currently seen from high to low? So how likely is that we will see a deeper move compared to the current weekly low we have? And then if we look at that, we can see unlike that P2 is in, 94% of the weeks form a new P2 after Tuesday. So if Monday is our high, it's very likely that we will see new lows after Tuesday. And also on the distance statistics, 89% of the weeks form new lows based on the distance. So overall, I'm expecting lower prices. Right now, I don't really see a clean short. I hoped to get into that short last night, and then I would have left a runner for lower levels. But right now, I don't really see a short opportunity. Only if we come back up, but then I think we will sweep that liquidity, and then I'm looking for potential shorts if we mitigate this fair value gap. Other than that, just waiting patiently for Bitcoin till we reach these levels where I'm interested in longs again. That's also, if we look at here, this is a heat map for the people that don't know it. If we look at the weekly heat map, that's not the heat map I'm talking about. It's the time price opportunity thing. Let's go to the weekly. It's a bit more. And we can see that this is our weekly TPO with a pretty clean ranging price behavior. But right now we are concentrating our volume around 122.4. So I think we just range, but I will not be surprised if we maybe get a move up higher into 114K to fill this volume gap. And then I'm also looking for potential shorts, but only if we get a local distribution model like we have seen be formed right there or right there. Else, I'm just waiting for the range extremes to be hit. Then if we look at total, yeah, this was forming some accumulated behavior with 1, 2 taps, and I hope to see during New York a new low or a higher low, but right now we are already expanding higher. So yeah, let's see how that evolves. I had some plans for shorts on altcoins because here we have, for example, Solana with all these lows stacking up, which are all creating liquidity right here. And then from here, we started to form a range with the range high, range low, sweep of that high. So I was looking for short triggers right here. But what price had before was that we had a demand right there. And it was also defended by the value area high right here. So I wanted to see price come into this demand, mitigate it, and then look for shorts. Right now that demand is gone, so I'm gonna be looking for shorts, but price should not move much lower. I'm quickly looking if we have an interesting PRI to reject from. Yeah, I'm just gonna overall look for, to put an alert right there, called liquidity, and put an alert. And then maybe if we, during New York, move into this zone, so also putting an alert at the initial tap 1, then I'm gonna be looking for shorts. So if we do something like this and then break structure, then I'm looking for shorts to that range low, but ultimately I think we will move to Monday's low and get a move into this demand zone right below. The only thing that needs to stay intact for that short idea to remain valid is that we keep these lows intact, because now we have lower there, lower there, lower there, and we just swept this low. But if price does this, that overall liquidity trail is still intact. But if we already smash lower here, then yeah, the RTZ is basically gone. So then it's less probable or less high probability trade. But right now, yeah, just waiting for that. So then potential short from here to here and there. And on SUI, yeah, basically we had the same, but yeah, Solana is looking much better because it has a much better return to zone. But also here we have local range with 1, 2, so potential move into the range high and then a short. But yeah, I would rather take Solana because it looks much cleaner. So yeah, definitely interesting price action. On the other pairs, yeah, Dodge similar, almost identical to SUI, which had a local accumulation, right now potentially distributing. And all these pairs have super interesting demand zones right here, which was that weekend bump away. So pretty sure sooner or later these levels are gonna be hit on the altcoins, same as SUI, around 2.55. But right now, Dogecoin or Solana I was talking about looks much cleaner to me, because here we have liquidity trail starting basically from this low all the way to there. So then if you can catch a short anywhere here with a stop above Monday's high, then you can target all that liquidity, which is already 5.5 R. Depends of course where your entry will be, but you can also leave some runner for that demand mitigation, which is a very clean level to get into. So that's a short I'm looking at to play. And basically that's it. So Solana short, Bitcoin, have to see how it develops, and then in confluence with USDT dominance. And yeah, basically that's it. I've now decided to focus on just a few pairs, also because I'm running that 2K challenge account this month. I'm just gonna focus on these pairs, so on USDT dominance as confluence, and then Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, SUI, Dogecoin, and BNB. And then I'm sharing that all in the Mastermind, where I also share all my insights. So this was a recap of last night's price action. Then here are some comparisons, some statistics, what I'm looking at for ETH, what I'm looking at for Solana. Basically just all the analysis, also that order flow things. And then we also have that public chat where everyone can just talk about the charts, and where we have some master scalpers. So definitely check that out. You can join if you want to see how I gonna trade that 2K into, we're gonna see, I'm not gonna try to flip it, but just show it with real trades. And I'm also sharing their insights on how I view just the main pairs. Because for Bitcoin, for example, what we can see is that people are trying to leverage trade their way back, it seems, after the loss from last Friday. So with each move, people start to heavily long at each high and heavily short at each low. And that's just a sign that the market makers can just chop price around, because they can grab liquidity everywhere. So that's our interesting insights. You can also see that, for example, on ETH. ETH is making pretty heavy moves up and down, but that's because the order books are super thin. So then you get these heavy moves where price finds some buyers and then it shoots up. But because the order books are so thin, there are not a lot of sell orders. So you directly push up, heavy move, and then as soon as the exhaustion comes into play, you retrace all that, all the way back down again. And that you can also see that in the, for example, the open interest, where people just get wrecked and wrecked and wrecked. They open longs, push up, they think they've got the bottom, and then everyone gets retraced basically. So just be careful. Don't try to make it back. That's never a good approach. Also, if we here look at the weekly profile, and then we have poor highs basically and poor lows, and right now we are building all that value in the middle of the range. So here you can expect a chop. So if we translate that into the normal chart, which is a bit easier to understand for most people, then basically, let me point this out as a SFP. Then we can see that on the weekly, this is our range high, this is our range low. Both very little price action with only some liquidity. This is also some liquidity. So, and this is where all the value is. So this is, let's say, the current value. This is where you can expect rotations towards, and the same here. So don't position yourself in this box, because this is where a lot of chop can happen, and only play the rotation. So let's say price moves up right here, then you can expect rotations back to value or to the other side. Same if we first go down, then this is a level where you can look for rotations back to value or back to the other side. But yeah, a lot of people I see are expecting either another crash or expecting a full fee reversal. But after huge crashes like this, like we have seen, price almost always forms a range. And that's also pretty logical, because if you see that everyone is trying to make it back with high leverage, massive risk, things like that, just to make it back, then what is max pain for those people if price does nothing? Because everyone will try max long right here with their stop below that low. What will price do? Push up a bit. They think, oh, I have a general regional entry. But what will price do? It comes back again, stops them out again. And then as soon as people finally understand that we are in the range and they start longing the range low, that's when we break down or we break out. That's just unfortunately how it works. But yeah, that's the main plan. So in short, BTC setting alert at that high, main interests at the range extreme right there and right there. And then looking at Solana for potential shorts, depending a bit on what price action will do from here. But still looking interesting if we get a move up. Show weakness, break structure, short, and then first TP and main TP is at Monday's low. So that's the main plan. I think pretty clear. Then I want to thank you all for watching it again, and happy trading as always.